Here's some pictures. Here's some pictures of Richard Nixon, a former president, and he was up for impeachment for the Watergate scandal, but he ran from office. He quit, and assigned it over to Gerald Ford, and the vice president at the time. But Richard Nixon was best known for a peacemaker and stopping the war. And as far as I'm concerned, he's a great man. Richard Nixon. He was a great peacemaker. And it's better to live in peace than in war. But it's Richard Nixon, and he was never impeached like Bill Clinton was. But then later, all charges were dropped. But President Nixon made a great president. If it wasn't for the Watergate scandal, he would have served a full 2 terms, but he only served 5.5 years in office. Then died later. But yeah, Nixon was a great president. He's a peacemaker. He left office in 1974, and Gerald Ford was assigned presidency, or took over presidency, because he was vice president. And that's what happens when a president leaves, is the vice president takes over. But Gerald Ford was a good president too. Nixon was up for impeachment, but he resigned instead to save face. Richard says that he wanted to continue for the people through Gerald Ford, because of the Watergate scandal. And that's what he did. He resigned. Richard Milhouse Nixon. Today is March the 21st, 2015. There's Richard Nixon, the only president to resign. He was going to be impeached, but he resigned and left office with dignity. But the only thing with Watergate is that he taped all conversations, and of course that's illegal, but the reason he couldn't release the tapes is because he could be picked apart on any one of those conversations that were on tape. So that's the reason why he didn't release the tapes, because of what was said. But as far as the tapes go, it was conversations of everyone, and no one in particular conversation was that bad, but you could pick them apart and he'd be impeached for some of those conversations. But not saying that most other presidents would say the same thing that he did, but not on tape. So really what happened is he screwed himself by taping all conversations. And that's Watergate. Today is March 21, 2015. To good President Nixon.